So I kind of missed the deadline for Christmas cards this year, but I still wanted to send out some cards, so I thought I'd make some New Year's cards, and I wanted to use stuff I have on hand. So we're going with some gel prints, and this is just a selection of the many gel prints that I have on hand from previous gel printing sessions, and I thought this one looked good for maybe adding a snowflake. Some of these are double-sided, that's kind of a dud side. This one I liked. This one just says blue. And that's kind of plain, but I liked that side. Here's a really cool one with lots of variety and layers. There's something odd. And I've cut this one down to card front size already. Here's another one. I think I'm going to use that side and this one here, and we'll see how many we can get to. For card number 1, I started with a black card base that I just made out of cardstock, and then I have a white panel, and then this gel print that I showed you earlier that I've already cut down to fit inside that white panel. And this card has lots of complexity with the gel prints, so it's pretty awesome to use it for card because you got a very nice background right from the start. Now I took this butterfly from the Beauty is Everywhere card kit of the month by Spellbinders, cut it out in the outline or the background in black, and then in a kind of a pearlescent card, and then the body is also black in this little piece here that you see me taking out. So I'm going to put the body onto the pearlescent card that I have there. And I'm just going to attach the pearlescent detail part of the butterfly in the center, and that way I can kind of curl up the wings a little bit to give it a little more dimension, but it can still, I'm planning on mailing these cards, so I don't want to do too much dimension because I want it to be able to be mailed flat. So kind of curl up the wings there, and then hopefully, you know, it'll be able to be fluffed when it gets to its destination. Here from the Hey Foxy card kit of the month, I have the word happy. I didn't have Happy New Year in anything, so I cut out this happy in the pearlescent card and in the black to give it a little bit of a shadow behind the happy. And then I have these alphabet chipboard letters here, and they're polka dot. I think I got them at Target a long time ago, and I didn't like the black and white so much, but here I am using what I have in my stash, and so I took this ink and just inked over the chipboard stickers to change them a little bit. I liked it like that. You can still see a little bit of the polka dot, but that works on this card because I have those kind of circle sort of stamp images on the gel print card, and so there's the circle elements in the card already, so the dots kind of go, if that makes sense. I hope that is making sense. And I actually like that subtle polka dot that sort of shows through, and this is how the first card has turned out. For card number 2, I'm using this gel print, and I'm using some supplies from a Tonic craft kit number 11, so this goes way back. I think they're up to like 60 or something. I used to get the Tonic craft kit, and so I'm just figuring out where to put this die. These 2 dies came in that kit, the Tonic craft kit, and it cuts out, so this first die cuts out these kind of snowflake shapes, and I'm just trimming up the edge. And then this second die will cut out the edge there, and it's a little bit to figure it out, but it fits. So I figure out where it goes, and then I just die cut it again and take that piece off. Now this card really cost me some troubles because I had an idea I was going to use a larger panel of that gel print in the beginning, and then when I cut this out, I didn't have enough room, and it just didn't look right. So sometimes that's how it goes, you know, you're like, you have an idea, and then when you get going, it just isn't working for you, which is kind of how this card went. But I did not give up. Persevered. I still used that gel print, but in a very different way than I was expecting to. So here I'm pulling in a couple snowflake dies. One of them's a Spellbinders. I'm not sure what the other one is. It's not from a card, neither one is from a card kit, but so you can see there the larger one I actually cut out of the gel print, and that is the gel print part that I ended up using instead of it being a panel, which is what I thought I was going to start out with, and I ended up with something totally different. But I really like how this card turned out anyway, and so I'm layering the one snowflake of just a white over that gel print one. And then I've got these rhinestone things that I got off Amazon, and I'm just going to add that. It is a little bit of a dimension, so maybe this one won't be mailed, or it might require extra postage. And to finish it off, I'm using a sentiment from Snowflake Season, a Simon Says stamp set. And it says Winter Greetings. I did not have an ink to match this purple panel, so I'm kind of making one up, and I'm showing you how I did it here. I stamped in the first purple ink, the oxide ink, and then I used my brush to kind of brush on some of the blue, and then I place it down with a little bit of a rocking motion. I think it's prize ribbon, and I'm not sure what the other one was, but you might be able to tell on the screen. And then spritz it a little bit to get that oxidation going. And it is not a perfect match, but it kind of goes with the gel print also. So for card number 3, we're going with this gel print here. And I have a card base that's already pre-scored and a white panel and some scrap snowflakes that are already die cut out. I just pulled them out of, I didn't use them for some other card. And then here I'm cutting down the gel print to fit inside that white panel. It's going to be 5 by 3 3/4. And so I'm just picking the part that I want to show and trimming off the other parts. And I really like how these three, the pattern and the white and the turquoise, are going together. And to bring in a little more of the lighter blue, I have that color in the snowflakes. I thought I was going to use all 3, and I'm playing around with placement, and I ended up deciding to just go with that larger, more intricate snowflake. That might be a Simon Says stamp die, I'm not sure about that. And I really like that. And so then for the sentiment here, I'm pulling again Simon Says stamp. This one is Snowflake Builder. And I'm just going to use the sentiment Winter Greetings. It's just a little one down there. And I'm using the Distress Oxide Broken China for this one. And I'm just going to stamp it out on some white. And I will end up trimming this out and going with a hand-cut little pennant flag end on there. And my first attempt here, it's a little bit longer than I will end up choosing, but that's how I roll. I'm very visual, and so I hold it up on there and I'm like, okay, this isn't quite working. So we gotta let this snowflake dry here. I love the acrylic blocks for holding things down. They also work great for larger stamps, but I use them for all kinds of stuff in the craft room. So here is my first attempt, and the placement was just somewhat off. I don't know. So I trimmed it down a little bit further, and I like that, how it turns out. And it's not perfectly centered, and this is a beautifully handmade and wonderfully imperfect card, but I really like how it turns out. And so that is the third card. For card number 4, I've got this gel print that I've trimmed down, cut down to the size, a white card base that I've made, and this lovely panel of it's navy cardstock. And then I had the gold already cut out with a die, a rectangular stitch die, and I just save those when I don't end up using them. And so this comes together pretty quick and easy if you have stuff already ready. And I love how there was some gold paint when I did the gel printing on this one. And so those really go well together. So I'm placing it onto that gold panel. And if you want to see, let me try to track down the link. I'm sure I have one of those gel print videos for the process, and I'll just throw that up in an iCard. So for this one, I'm using the Tonic Graphic Kit 21. For this die here, it cuts out my sentiment, wishing you all the best, and a shadow as well. And I thought that kind of fit the new year, and I might just write in the new year inside the card. I'm not even sure. But lovely New Year sentiments since I missed Christmas. But I want to send some good wishes to some friends and family. And so I did give a couple cards to family like that I saw in person. I just didn't mail any out. So, but it's, never too late to send well wishes. And so this is how the 4th card turns out. For the 5th card, again, I'm starting white card base, and this is the gel print that I picked. And it's not particularly wintry, but I think it's got the sparkle, so it's kind of celebratory. So this die here is also from that same Tonic craft kit, 21, I believe. And it doesn't cut the edge out, the right-hand edge that's not even. I just hand cut that out along, which is a lot easier to do on the white side of the glitter paper. So that's how I did that. And then I have the same sentiment, and I put it up on a white shadow this time. And I really like how this one turned out. And it's really letting that gel print kind of shine through, because a lot of the unique detail is in that background already, and I don't want to cover too much of it up. That's what I want to showcase, and so a little bit of sparkle. And I'm not sure that you can tell on camera, but I feel like there might have been a little bit of sparkle in the paint, like the blue. I don't know if it was metallic, but because of that distressed look, it just really goes well with that glitter paper. So then I am going to go ahead and place down the sentiment, and this one's going to be a pretty simple card, but yeah, I think it's pretty nice. Well, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I love to hear the comments, and which one's your favorite for sure. I want to hear that too. So for card number 6, the final card, again, a black card base that I've made, a white panel, and a lovely gel print with all kinds of different patterns and details going on in the background. And for the choices that I'm making to finish these cards, I'm using the things that are in the gel print that I want to bring out. And this gel print happens to have some black in it, so I went with some black. Now this is a Tonic Craft Kit number 26, where I got this die out of, and it cuts out this background and this lovely intricate overlay. Here's a little brief look at what was in that kit there. I'm also going to use the stamp from the stamps that came in that kit. Any old swirl stamp would work. And then again, I'm using this Snowflake Builder sentiment, Winter Greetings. And I'm going for balance here. So if you can see in the gel print, the part that I've cut out, I'm also using some embossing powder, Shimmering Pearl, and my favorite VersaFine Onyx Black pigment ink to get that down there. Now for the balance in this card, there's a little bit more black kind of on the left, and I'm bringing in the balance by putting that other element on the right, and then just placing things to bring about the balance in the card. I don't even know if I'm making sense, but I hope so. So I'm going to use some anti-static powder because I'm going to do some embossing on the bottom there, and I put this little banner element here on the right, and then that leaves that lovely spot on the bottom right for my sentiment, but I wanted to balance that with the swirl and bring in a little more black too. So first I'm going to place down the Winter Greetings, a little bit of a rocking motion, but not too much. Doesn't that stamp great? And the other reason why this pigment ink is good too is because these are gel prints that I printed with acrylic paint, so you know, that's not I don't know if any old ink would stick, but that pigment ink does a great job. And then I'm going to put my swirl down here, get it well inked up so that it can grab onto that shimmery embossing powder. And I'll give you a close-up look here in a moment. Just figuring out my placement here. And then again, that beautiful sparkle embossing powder. I could have gone with clear, but I just liked adding a little bit more sparkle because these are kind of New Year's cards. And that is how it looks. And I'll give one quick final look of all 6 cards that I put together using supplies that I have in my craft room and scraps that have been laying around, and it's great to use them up. And I hope you get some ideas of what you can do with the gel prints. Maybe you're inspired to pull out your printing plate and do some gel printing as well. I definitely want to do some more, but that is a big task because it's messy. I gotta have a lot of stuff ready to do cleanup, and it takes over my entire desk. But it's super fun, and I love the results. Thanks again for watching, and have a wonderful creative day. Bye!